One of the hardest things to do as a parent is disciplining our kids. But what is and is not okay? Does the punishment or discipline match the crime? Coming up. Hey guys, Tim Fiddler here. If this is your first time visiting my channel, welcome. If you like the content in this video, please consider subscribing. As we have kids of our own, they start to grow up and misbehave. I look at my kids like a blank computer where I, the parent, am able to have a major influence on their programming. One thing we want to make sure of is that we are teaching our kids right from wrong. When our kids misbehave, there needs to be an age-appropriate consequence. No kid is perfect. All kids make mistakes. We can have less mistakes if we become more active and consistent when working with our kids in appropriate behaviors. We need to start our kids out on the right path early. Don't wait till they're 3 years old to start teaching them right from wrong. So what is the difference between discipline and punishment? Disciplining is a positive method of teaching our kids to be responsible. It teaches them self-control, whereas punishment can be physical, causing pain or hitting. So question, when is it okay to hit your kid? When? When is it okay to hit? It is never okay to hit anyone in an attempt to correct their behaviors. Never hit as a punishment. Such a reaction can cause lasting traumatic effects. The kid may also learn that it's okay for them to hit others. Never hit your kid. Punishment may also be psychological, as in disapproval, isolation, or shaming. So discipline is good, punishment is bad. Generally, we as parents will default to disciplining or punishing our kids the same way our parents responded to our poor behaviors growing up. But is that the best way? Hopefully you experience more discipline than punishment. How many of us, when pulled over by a police officer, asks the officer to use the full extent of the law and give us the harshest punishment possible? Anyone? No one? Yeah, I highly doubt any of us would ask the police officer to give us a ticket for the actual speed we were going. How many of us going to a judge would go without an excuse or a reason for breaking the law? Now, I know these are different situations than parenting and teaching our kids, yet I think we should be mindful of how we generally want others to have more mercy on us and our behaviors than justice. So in my opinion, fall a little more on the mercy side when possible. So here are some things to be mindful of. Does your kid know what they did was wrong? Shouldn't your response be different if your kid knew what they did was wrong than if they didn't know it was wrong? You need to assess that. Talk to your kid about why the consequence follows their behavior. You're not disciplining them because they are a bad kid. Actions have consequences, good or bad. Your kid needs to feel that the consequence is coming as a result of their behavior. Now, I can't tell you how to discipline your kids' poor behaviors. That is your responsibility as the parent. What I can tell you is you should never respond irrationally to their choices. Some parents' knee-jerk reaction is much more harmful towards their kid than their kid's negative behavior. Every kid is different, so you may consider responding differently to each one. You know your kids better than anyone else. You have to do your best to balance and make them as fair and as effective as possible. When multiple kids are involved and one's consequence is far more harsh than the other may receive a message that we don't want them to receive. Once again, this is something only you, the parent, can do and try to balance to the best of your ability. Sadly, there's no perfect way to do it. Be mindful of your kids' mental capacity. They clearly can't see all outcomes of their choices. They clearly don't have the ability to empathize and think how their actions affect others. Does your kid even have the mental capacity to comprehend the lesson you're trying to teach them? Or are you responding in a way that satisfies your feelings about their behaviors? After the consequence, there needs to be a conversation of what happened, how their actions affect others. Encourage them to make amends if possible. Talk to your kid to ensure they are understanding and it is clear their consequence came as a result of their behavior, not as a result of who they are. Follow up with an increase of love. Trust me, your ability to show genuine care and nurture towards your kids will do more than anything else. Here's a story. I know of a kid who one day was triggered by his older brother and got angry with him. As he was chasing his brother ran into his room and closed the door. The angry boy tried to push the door open and get in, but his brother held it shut with his foot. The 8-year-old boy, angry and wanting to get in, kicked the door and damaged the door's wood frame. His brother opened the door, came out, saw the damage, and ran to tell their dad. The dad came and saw the door frame, asked the 8-year-old boy where his handheld gaming device was, went and retrieved it, then had the boy go outside with him and witness his dad slam it on the front patio. Now, some of you may hear this and say the father was justified in breaking his gaming device as the boy damaged the door frame. But this is the question: did that compute for the 8-year-old? Did he connect his action with the consequence? Was that a parent's knee-jerk reaction? I'm not the parent of that child, but was that the correct way to respond? Or would it have been better for the father to come down, see what happened, then become calm, sit and talk to his son, have the son help pay for the damage, and he, the father, work directly with the son to fix it? Material things are replaceable, yet traumatic experiences like this to a young child do far more harm than good. We don't want our kids to behave out of fear of how we will respond if they mess up. We want them to behave out of love and respect. Don't be the parent whose kid does what they've seen you do all along and then they get in trouble for what they've been taught to do. Your kids learn the best by seeing your example. Let me explain the pendulum theory. A pendulum is a weight suspended from a pivot so that it can swing freely. When a pendulum is displaced sideways from its resting equilibrium position, it is subject to a restoring force due to gravity that will accelerate it back towards the equilibrium position and cause it to swing up to its opposite side. Here's the theory. When it comes to our kids or anyone, a pendulum can only swing as high on one side as it does the other. The energy we put into disciplining our kids needs to swing back over to equal energy to the side of nurture and care. On the other hand, if you are a compassionate and caring, nurturing type of caregiver, then you must also swing just as equally high on the strict disciplinary side. In closing, a lot of times our kids will even act out to get our attention. Some kids will gladly take the consequences and set off their parents because they got what they wanted, your attention. Make sure you're spending enough quality time with them doing things they love. Play how they play. Let them direct the play, and you go along with it. This helps them feel important and loved. If you have any questions, be sure to comment below. Also remember to like, share, and subscribe, and thanks for watching.